The next thing that we're going to see happen prophetically is what's called the tribulation. And the tribulation is a period where there are going to be a lot of things happening upon this earth that are catastrophic. There are going to be famines, there are going to be pestilences, there's going to be warfare, like an extreme amount of warfare. A lot of people are going to be starving to death, dying of disease. A lot of horrible things are going to be happening. Well, out of all this warfare and cataclysm that's going to be taking place during the tribulation, not supernatural cataclysm, not God raining fire and brimstone, but rather natural disasters, warfare, famine caused by human beings, there's going to be a man that's going to emerge and become a dictator of the entire world known as the Antichrist. This isn't a fairy tale. This is really going to happen, and in fact, we can already see the signs that it's beginning to happen. The Bible tells us that someday there will be a one world government. Right now we have all these different governments, right? We got the United States, we've got Russia, we've got China. They're all separate sovereign nations. You probably heard the term sovereign. All these separate nations. Well, one day the Bible says all of those nations will unite together and form a one world government. And then, once they form that one world government, they will hand all the power to one person that will be the head of that government. And that person is known in the Bible as the Antichrist. Who's ever heard of the Antichrist before? Yeah.
Everybody's heard that term, right? You know, the Antichrist is a biblical term. You know, you'll often hear the Bible talk about the beast, or the beast from the sea, or the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, and they'll talk about the man of sin, the son of perdition. But the Bible also uses the term Antichrist. And I like to use the term Antichrist. It's a term that people understand, and it's a biblical term. I want to show you where the Bible mentions the term Antichrist, because the Bible tells us there is a person coming someday that's called the Antichrist.
Before Jesus Christ comes back, there will be a decoy, a fake Christ. Do you see what I mean? The Antichrist is a guy who comes claiming to be the second coming of Christ, but he's an imposter. But since Christians now are being taught to expect Jesus to come back at any moment, it's perfect. Because guess who's really showing up? The Antichrist.
Why does the Bible call it Antichrist? Because there's a man coming called the Antichrist, singular, who's going to say that he's Jesus Christ. And when that Antichrist shows up in the tribulation and says, I'm Jesus Christ, they're going to accept him as their Messiah. A lot of people will teach, oh, when Jesus Christ comes in the clouds, the Jews will finally realize that he was their Messiah and they'll accept him. No, they'll accept the Antichrist. That's what the Bible says. When Jesus said, I've come in my Father's name and you receive me not, another will come in his own name, him you will receive.
I think Satan's plan with the pre-tribulation rapture is to get everybody to have this mentality that Jesus Christ is coming at any moment. We're expecting the second coming of Christ at any moment. He could come today. He's coming today. But really, the person who's coming is the Antichrist. And the Antichrist, when he comes, he will be the head of a one-world government and a one-world religion where he basically claims to be the Messiah.
It says in verse 18 of 1 John 2, Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come. Now, is that singular or plural? So they've heard that Antichrist singular shall come. Even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. So, there's one Antichrist coming, is there not? But aren't there many Antichrists even right now? That's what the verse says. Who are these Antichrists? Who is a liar, but he that denieth that Jesus is the Christ? He is Antichrist that denieth the Father and the Son. In order to believe that Jesus is not the Christ, you have to believe that there is a Christ and that it's not Jesus. The word Christ means Messiah. The Bible says in John chapter 1, we found the Messiah, which is to say being interpreted the Christ. So the Bible defines the word Christ as Messiah. The two are interchangeable. So let me ask you this. Can you think of a religion out there that says there's a Messiah coming, but it's not Jesus? Jesus wasn't him. The Jewish religion teaches there's a Messiah, all right, but it wasn't Jesus. They're still waiting for the Messiah. They say Jesus was not the Messiah. They're still waiting for the Messiah.
The Bible says that they will basically receive the Antichrist as their Messiah. Evangelical Christianity that believes that Jesus can come back at any moment, those that are not saved, those who don't really believe the truth, you know, many of them will be deceived and think, this is the second coming of Jesus Christ. The Muslims today, did you know that they are waiting for a great prophet and a great Messiah to come that's actually greater than Muhammad? President Ahmadinejad, the president of Iran, who's ever heard of him before? President Ahmadinejad, he spoke to the United Nations General Assembly a year or two ago, and when he did, he gave a brief synopsis of Islam.
The essence of the message of prophets is one and the same. Every messenger has endorsed the messenger before him and given glad tidings about the next prophet to come, who presented a more complete version of the religion in accordance with man's capacity at the time. This trend continued until the last messenger of God, who presented the perfection of an all-inclusive religion. Nimrod countered Hazrat Abraham. Pharaoh countered Hazrat Moses. And the greedy countered Hazrat Jesus Christ and Hazrat Muhammad. May peace be upon all our prophets.
And he said that Islam believes that, you know, Abraham was a great prophet, Moses was a great prophet, and then there was Jesus, and then there was Muhammad, and the Muslims nodding her head, so I must be getting this right. And basically what Ahmadinejad said was that each of those men brought more truth than the one who came before, as man was ready for it. They brought more illumination and more details and more truth, okay? He said in the future another prophet will come that will even be greater than Muhammad and will bring the next level of illumination. So Islam is looking for a messianic figure to come. And so they are waiting for the Imam Mahdi.
O God, hasten the arrival of Imam al-Mahdi and grant him good health and victory, and make us his followers and those who attest to his rightfulness.
The Buddhists are looking for, you know, the fifth Buddha to come, or whatever. You know, those that are in Tibet that follow the Dalai Lama, they believe that the Dalai Lama keeps being reincarnated into another person, that spirit of the Dalai Lama. They will believe that the Antichrist is the new embodiment of the Dalai Lama. The Muslims will look at him as the Imam Mahdi. The Christians will look at him as the second coming of Christ. The Jews will look at him as the Messiah. You know, all of these major religions will all rally around it. And people say, isn't this great how we're all uniting finally? We're putting aside our differences. And this man is so wonderful. And they will worship this man. This impostor, this Antichrist is going to come. The world government will put him into power, give him all the power, and they will also declare him to be God. They'll declare him to be the second coming of Christ. He will basically be killed, the Bible says. He'll receive a deadly wound to his head, and his deadly wound will be healed, and he will come back to life. And then he's going to basically be proclaimed as the second coming of Jesus Christ. He's going to be proclaimed as God in the flesh. And all the nations of the world, all the peoples of the world are going to worship this guy. Basically, every religion is going to accept him as their Messiah. But the Bible says that those that are saved will not be deceived by him, but that the rest of the world will worship him and believe, because he's going to perform miracles, the Bible says, and he's going to do all these signs and wonders, and he's going to bring in this world government.